Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Peter Jennings, and I go by CSURAM88 across the daily fantasy industry. And I'm excited to be back again here at FantasyLabs doing another model preview, the first of 2017. Recording this here still in 2016, but pretty crazy that the NFL regular season has flown by in addition to the year 2016. Can't believe it's already week 17 and that we're bringing in the new year with a full slate of games here on January 1st. So a couple quick notes on that. Hope everyone had a great 2016. I know it was a very eventful year across the globe, but it was a great year for me. Really enjoyed a lot of experiences, overcame a big injury, and looking forward to doing hopefully big things in 2017. Another note is that it's a new tax year. And for any professional DFS players or anyone who is fortunate enough to make money in 2016, it is an adjustment, so make sure you talk to an accountant or whomever you would seek out advice pertaining to those situations. But anyways, let's move on to quarterbacks for the final week. Obviously, week 17 is always interesting with teams having big incentive or no incentive for playoff implications, but I feel really good about the week and wanted to dive into quarterback specifically because I think there's a lot of really interesting options. So if we take a look here at the model that I made, I really weighted Vegas score, and I think that's important this week. One nice thing we can take advantage of is the lines like we always do, but it's even more important in a week like this, getting the opinion of the books, basically where they think points are going to be scored, and you can use that in correlation with teams that have incentive to find some of the safer cash game plays. This is still a tournament model because I weighted the ceiling pretty heavily here, which you'll see in a second, but just make sure you're taking that into account. I have player points, or projected points per dollar at 30. I have projected plus minus at 25. These are two sliders I use consistently. You'll see them in all my models with almost every position, and definitely really important sliders. Projected plus minus takes advantage of proprietary stats here we have at FantasyLabs, backtesting against salaries and their expectations. So something I certainly find really valuable. And then here I have projected ceiling at 10 points and something that I think you should absolutely be weighting if you're making a tournament model. Obviously, we're chasing ceilings when looking at tournaments. And then just scrolling a little bit farther down, you'll see that I don't have anything else weighted. So a very, very basic model here. With really not many things weighted. I pulled down the opponent rating down to 10. I didn't want to think about that too much just because there's so many different things going on with teams having incentive and just the different situations that teams are involved in. So it's still important. Obviously, you want to take advantage of good matchups, but I wanted to weight a couple different things to specifically look at for this model. So based on who's coming out here, I really like the results. I think Matt Ryan is the stone cold chalk here. If we look at the raw projections right now, and I'm recording this late on Wednesday night, Matt Ryan is the highest projected quarterback, followed by Drew Brees, who are both in the same game. We're expecting a ton of points there. It's indoors. I love Matt Ryan so much this week. I think he's a phenomenal play. Definitely love him in cash, and certainly think he makes a really good GPP play. Definitely follow the news to figure out who you want to stack him with. And I actually don't mind stacking him with someone like Devontae Freeman. In general, we don't do quarterback running back stacks unless they're a really good pass catching back. And I certainly think that could make sense this week. So real quick, too, I'm going to look at projected ownership because you'll see that he's projected to be the highest owned quarterback as well. This is an interesting way to kind of look at who might be a cash game viable quarterback, is see who we have as the highest projected ownership for quarterbacks. And Adam Levitan and the staff here at FantasyLabs does a really good job adjusting this. I think I agree. I think Ryan will be 1. I think Rodgers will be 2. Although I could see Kirk Cousins and Drew Brees moving up as the week goes on. But those are the 4 clear top guys that you want to probably roster in cash games. And then there's some cheaper options and some other plays that might be interesting. Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck, Tom Brady's another option if you want to pay up, certainly. But these are the guys that are expected to be heavily owned, and it's pretty evenly distributed across everyone else. So definitely pay attention to this stuff, especially for tournaments. All right, so looking at the second-rated quarterback, it's Russell Wilson. Obviously, the matchup here is fantastic. Seattle still could technically get the 2 seed, so they do have incentive here. The worst that they'll do is fall to 4, so they don't have as much incentive as some teams, but I'm expecting a full go from all their guys. It's against San Francisco. Everyone's been going off against San Francisco, so certainly Russell Wilson makes a lot of sense. We have Alex Smith as the third quarterback. He's tough to roster in general. I've been kind of harping on his rushing upside all year, and he finally came through with some really nice rushing attempts last week. Looked like he's finally getting healthy. So there's additional upside there, and he's a cheap quarterback if you want to punt. I don't hate this play. I don't love this play because I think there's some guys in better spots. Jameis Winston coming up pretty high here. I do like him all right against Carolina. I think pairing him with Mike Evans is a really good GPP play this week. We'll see how that game plays out, but I do think Jameis is going to be pretty low owned. We have him at 2 to 4%, so I love him in tournaments with Mike Evans. Drew Brees is probably my favorite tournament quarterback at this point, or at least a quarterback I want to use in like higher stakes tournaments. I really like the spot here. He's 142 yards away from 5,000, I believe. Mike Thomas is 19 yards away from going over 1,000. So a lot of individual incentives for all the New Orleans guys, and I'm sure they want to go into Atlanta and win this game. I really expect the Saints to show up here and play well, at least on offense, to hopefully turn this into a shootout. And Vegas is expecting the same. You're looking at a total around 56 points, so I certainly think it makes sense to get exposure to this game. I love Matt Ryan. I also love Drew Brees. Matthew Stafford, the next guy here on the list, I think he's a fantastic option against Green Bay. A lot of people are going to be rostering Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is the better cash game play, but for tournaments, Matthew Stafford certainly has a lot of upside here. At home, he's been playing fantastic all year. Really hope this is a great game, and it's always fun to roster someone with a Sunday night hammer. Landry Jones is the next guy on the list. I'm probably just going to avoid Pittsburgh altogether. We'll see what ends up happening there and how they play. I know it's Cleveland, but as of now, I'll probably avoid. I should say that could change if some more news comes out, and I feel really good about a couple plays in particular in Pittsburgh. But as of now, I'm just not too high in the situation, even though it is against Cleveland. Carson Palmer next on the list. I don't mind throwing a couple GPP teams with him and J.J. Nelson, hoping they connect on 2 long balls. But that's about the end of my Carson Palmer exposure. Next guy on the list is Kirk Cousins, who's also about to go over 5,000 yards, or he could go over 5,000 yards. I think he needs 370 passing yards to do it. Really like him in the spot against the Giants. They're resting all their players. They don't have incentive, and the Redskins are still trying to get into the playoffs. So I really like Kirk Cousins. I think he makes a ton of sense this week. Tom Brady's the next guy, and the Patriots do want to win the AFC outright. Oakland plays in the afternoon game, so they'll want to win just to clinch. My only concern is it's a second game within the division against Miami, and they're actually a huge favorite, which is another trend here at Fantasy Labs that works against Tom Brady, but he's still Tom Brady, and he could go off against Miami. He can go off any week, so I don't mind him as a tournament play. Next 2 guys here on the list I really love. I love Aaron Rodgers. He's been playing as well as anyone. Like stacking him with Jordy Nelson, obviously. Like the double stack with Devontae Adams. And I really actually just like the one-on-one stack of Rodgers to Devontae Adams and hoping Jordy has an average game in tournaments. I think most people who play Rodgers in tournaments are going to pair him with Jordy Nelson. And Devontae Adams has just been on the wrong side of variance with touchdowns. Has dropped 3 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks right in the hand. So I guess it's not unlucky. That's just him not playing well. But he's a good receiver. I think that if he holds on to those big catches, especially in the end zone, he could have a really, really nice game here. And I certainly think he's the more contrarian of the pass-catching options for Aaron Rodgers. Andrew Luck, I like. Jacksonville has actually been really good against quarterbacks and receivers, so a little concerned about that. But Andrew Luck's my guy, so I'll have some GPP ownership for sure. Scrolling through here, Blake Bortles, you can make an argument for with Allen Robinson again. He finally played pretty well last week, so helped win $1 million for Under Jones. I do think that he makes sense, but we'll see how much ownership I have to him. And then really that's kind of the gist of the guys that I'm looking at. The rest of these guys I'm just not too interested in. Maybe a Tom Savage team with DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. He looked so bad last week, but if you can get him at 0 to 1%, maybe it's worth it in a GPP like the Millionaire Maker. But that's kind of the gist of it for me in terms of guys that I'm going to be playing. So a condensed list this week at quarterback, but I feel really good about it. Hope this was helpful for you guys. One thing you can leverage out of this video is the pass catching options for some of the quarterbacks who are rating well. So definitely look at that. And again, hope everyone has a happy new year. And of course, hoping to see more Fantasy Lab subscribers at the top of the leaderboard.